would really open up a lot of other possibilities. Right now, with the type of financing that we have, and I think a lot of restaurants have access to, it's very difficult to plan your month, especially to plan for emergencies and bills you maybe weren't expecting. Because we're a type of business that doesn't have invoicing, heavy invoices on the front that get paid on the back end, we're really operating on a day-to-day basis. You have some big things, catering orders that get paid over time, but when you're operating on a cash flow basis, there are things that come up, and having 60 days to pay it, and you're not accumulating heavy interest just because you got to day 31 because you're expecting a bunch of payments on day 32 of that payment cycle. It kind of would be a pressure valve release that is really helpful to expand and budget and also activate new marketing pathways, advertising pathways. So I think just the breathing room, the pressure relief of being able to reallocate money, that you want to try new things and do new things, but you don't necessarily have those funds up front. They always say you have to spend money to make money, but sometimes you're trying to figure out, how do I spend money in all these different places when I don't have all that money to reallocate at this moment. So I think it's a great opportunity to really just extend. You're going to be making that money next month. So if I can think about using next month's money to make even more money next month, then I think that's a great way to reallocate cash flow. I think that traditional financing, and rightfully so, they're trying to be risk adverse because they're loaning to so many different types of industries and people. But unfortunately, I think it has definitely hindered expansion of restaurants and not really allowed them to make proactive choices to increase their money and to increase their funds to do more marketing. And, they don't really take the time to see the vision. I think restaurants are very niche and very specific industry. And if you don't understand how restaurants function and work on a day-to-day basis, it's very hard to see the potential benefits and the rewards from lending to them. So when people come from a restaurant background, they get it. You explain your vision, you explain how things work, and they understand it. But a lot of times people in the general traditional financing realm, they're lending to real estate people. They're lending to people that have a lot of money up front and a lot of money on the back end, not the day-to-day kind of ups and downs of a restaurant business. So I think that's why they don't really offer these terms. They're afraid to think outside of the box in that way. I think that traditional financing hasn't offered this type of 60-day terms to businesses, especially restaurants, is because they're making a lot of money off of the fact that people need funding to accomplish their goals, and people are willing to sign on the dotted line just to achieve that next marketing plan. And then 30 days from then, they're realizing, oh my gosh, I have all this interest I have to pay. And now your credit card terms are, you're using up that credit, you're increasing that credit by the interest being applied to it. And so I think they don't really find benefit to themselves. And over the years, I think traditional financing used to be, they were trying to expand the market, expand the economy. And now I feel that in a big way, traditional financing is trying to protect itself and not really expand our economy. And they don't give financing to new ideas. They don't give financing to people that want to grow. It's like, unless it's a guaranteed done deal, they won't want to help you. So I think that there's an element of fear and risk around why they haven't offered this kind of financing. To be honest, every conversation I have with Tab and someone at Tab shows me that they understand how restaurants work, mainly because I bring up situations, use cases that I experience, and there's always a thoughtful response that is a solution to that problem, or at least on the way to a solution to that problem. The 60-day terms is a perfect example, actually, because I know that we had discussed something like this a while ago, that what we're trying to accomplish with some of our bills is our vendor wants to be paid today, because they're a small plumber who came out and we're like, yeah, of course we want to get you paid today, but we didn't plan to have to get a whole sink fixed today and have to spend X amount of dollars on that. So in our 30-day budget, that wasn't accounted for. So we have to put that on a credit card and then within 30 days pay that. That's how it currently functions.